Hi there, this is Steve Spurrier. You can join University of Florida Hall of Famer Shane Matthews and also the two-time SEC Player of the Year every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, opinions, and some of the biggest names in sports. You can find him on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Morning live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. Locations across the state of Florida, right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Go check out the good folks at International Diamond Center. Today's show, we'll have JC here just a second. Mike Morgan, second portion of the program.
Oh, Mike Morgan.
Gators defeat the Auburn Tigers last night in game one. Gymnastics moves on to compete Saturday, tomorrow, for the national title. And Lady Gator Golf cranks up the SEC golf tournament today. JC, you're on the Titan More hotline. Anything exciting happening?
Well, tell me, where's the Lady Gator golf tournament? Where's the SEC?
It's somewhere in South Florida.
Okay. All right. So they're close. Yeah, man, great performance.
They're the number one seed, by the way.
Well, they're fantastic. I love what Emily's done. Hey, listen, this baseball team, man, they you knew as soon as a good team showed up in town, they'd play well. And here's Aiden King, 6 innings, 8 strikeouts. Outstanding. I love that him starting on Friday now. I think it's an excellent idea. Gators 11th ranked win. 11th win over a ranked team that leads the country and that leads America, the Florida Fighting Gators. And so, you know, it's a really strange team. They have losses to UAB and High Point and Bethune-Cookman and Jacksonville, but then they sweep Florida State, they sweep Arkansas, they beat Georgia, they beat Miami. I mean, so we all know when these guys have their attention focused, and when it happens, they can beat anybody. So I guess that's what you have to take from this. And 6-3 win last night was a good way to start the weekend now. Just win one of these next two and you take the series, or just win them both. Just go ahead and win them both. Arkansas is a hot team right now, too. They beat Georgia last night 6-3. The Dogs, from being the hottest team in the league, have now lost 4 in a row, or 3 out of 4. So Arkansas has won 4 in a row. They swept Alabama last weekend, and here they are beating Georgia and Fayetteville. So those were the 2 games last night. We get more tonight in the SEC. What a great conference. It's really anybody's game in this league. It's amazing.
Yeah, and softball hosts Auburn this weekend. And what's crazy is it's already senior weekend for softball, meaning
flies by.
We start regionals next week.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and so I'm going to predict you'll see South or Central Florida, one of those two come here. Then you'll see
Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, and then FAU. Something like that. Yeah, but listen, it's all about getting to OKC, and that's what they do well here in Gainesville.
Text on the Titan More, text from Josh and Wamama says, one thing I think people are not considering in this quarterback battle is during the spring game, everything was so vanilla on defense that the quarterbacks were not getting blitzed, did not have to adjust protection or account for a blitz. So we don't know who's better at that.
We talked about that.
Who's better at that, possibly learning. Philo, just because he's been with Faulkner, probably has a little bit more experience. I agree. I still think if they had to play a game today, Aaron Philo would be the quarterback.
Okay.
This is nothing against Trammell. I thought they both handled themselves well in the spring game. I'm going to say it again. Too many people make too much of what they saw in a practice when the coaches are going to take the body of work.
Yeah, I don't make a whole lot out of this practice game, but it's good for the fans to see some new players out there running around, and we'll go with that. Singleton and Vernell Brown are the 2 biggest threats on that team right now, playing wide receiver, and Jaden Ball. So, we know some things and we don't know others, and that's what the summer will be about, and that's what August will be about. I still have them over 8, man.
I made a mistake. Next week is the last series.
Right.
The series at home. They play at Georgia next week.
And then don't they have the SEC tournament somewhere?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that, too.
Yeah, you got to get that in.
Yeah, CTE, JC.
Well, okay. Well,
all right. Real quick. Clint on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, did y'all see Kevin Kisner ripped the Sunday coverage of the Masters. Apparently, there was a 7-minute delay. It could have gotten more real-time coverage by following the Masters app. I did see Kisner on Twitter talking about that. I was personally thinking to myself, watching the Masters, what the hell's going on here? The last round was terrible coverage. I also read something, and you can't believe everything you read, right, JC?
No.
Where a few of the camera people for CBS were suspended or got banned
They had bad weekend.
because they sold their tickets to the Masters or something
Well,
like that.
that's
I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, I don't either, but boy, they had trouble finding the golf ball at times.
Yeah.
And, Rory's shot, as odd as it was, I still can't believe how lucky he was not to be behind a bush or something. But he, after he hit it, nobody knew where the ball was. And it turned out that it was in the bunker right in front of the green. I don't know. Mate, look, I know it's a tough gig. I think CBS does a good job overall. So what? I never at one time watching that final round on Sunday thought about the coverage, QB. All I thought about was, can Rory come back?
Well, I
I've got
thought
to
it was
win this
very
bet.
spotty coverage. It's not like what they
You
normally
did.
do. I
Okay.
did. I really did.
Well, I mean, so they showed a lot of the leaders. Obviously, they did
But
not
they
show
were
a lot.
showing it like you could hear the roar on the telecast, like JC's putting on 16. You hear this roar, and then 5 minutes later, they go back and show somebody chipping in on number 4.
Mm.
They were behind. It was bad. It was bad. Kanye Ron says, "Will I invite Scott Strickland on the show to get the latest on the swamp renovations?" Maybe. I think I know a lot of other people who do podcasts have a lot of the administrators, coaches, and stuff. It's kind of a different situation for me because I'm friends with a lot of those guys, and I know how much time it takes out of their schedule to do these type of things. And I don't like to bother people. Does that make any sense, JC?
It does. I know. Yeah, you have that relationship.
Like
but
I Coach Summerall, I can
think-
get Coach Summerall on tomorrow or Monday, but I don't want to. He's got stuff going on.
Well, but see-
I'd rather him recruit players, spend time with his family, do whatever he needs to do than come on my show right now.
I think they're only asking for 15 minutes, QB. I think this. I hear what you're
15
saying.
minutes goes by about 2 questions.
I sympathize with what you're saying, but I also believe that because they know who you are, because you're well known in this community and on that campus and in that athletic department, they might be honored to come on.
No. They will come on. That is not the problem.
But they might want to, is what I'm saying. Is because look, man, you were doing it before any of those people were.
I know.
And I was covering it before any of those people even knew what was going on.
But it's just it's hard to explain the
Well,
dynamic
I'll tell you
of
what,
it.
you do that and just say, hey, I'll let JC ask the questions. I don't care.
It has nothing to do with the questions. It's about
Time.
scheduling the time.
I know.
And me scheduling the time. It's again, I could get any of them on at any time, and I maybe
Well, you've
do
had
that.
Tim. You've had Tim on.
I've had Scott Strickland on. I've had everybody on.
Tim loves coming on.
I know, but I get it. Do you know when I get him?
When he's not playing.
Before the season.
Right, when he's
I
not
don't want to
playing.
mess with anybody while they're coaching.
I think fans would love to hear the athletic director talk about their stadium. I do.
Well, their stadium, they've already said they're not decreasing capacity.
Right, but they're gonna, let's talk about some of the enhancements or some of the good things.
Well, they're
that's
going to
coming.
make the bathrooms nicer. They're going to widen the concourses. They're going to put more concessions. They're going to
Well,
put
they're-
handrails.
I mean,
They're going
I
to put
mean-
handrails where you don't fall when you walk down the stadium. The stadium's part of that stadium's over 100 years old.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well-
so I just told you what's going to happen.
No need for an interview, everybody. There
Yeah.
you go. There you go. That's
All
fine.
right. All right, JC, real quick, if Zach can put up our Peachland Dental picks, I was not on the program Wednesday, had to take care of some business.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I just threw some names out there. You actually took one guy I wanted, my guy, Russell Henley. But of course,
Your
Luke
guy.
and Siwoo are
There
playing
he is.
really good this week.
And you took him, right?
No, I did not.
You did not take Oberg?
No. So Zach,
He's
can
the
you put
first
up the
round
Peachland
leader.
Dental
Oh my
scoreboard?
God. He's the first round leader. Well, he is the first
Oh, you
round
don't
leader.
have it. Okay.
I think it's damn funny. He's the first round leader. So I had Matthew Fitzpatrick. He's tied for 5th. I know that. I also picked Woodland. He's tied for 5th. I know that at -6. These are courses that, this is such a tight little course at Hilton Head, but this tournament now has turned into one of the bigger signature event type tournaments on tour where it used to not be after the Masters. But you got all the players in Hilton Head right now. So
Did
it's done
Kepka get in, or is he still sitting at Starbucks waiting for the call?
probably still sitting at
Yeah,
Starbucks.
so he flew home, man, because they showed a picture of him because he was the first alternate.
Yeah, I don't see him.
Yeah, he was
Don't see.
sitting like me with bad posture,
Yeah,
drinking coffee at
yeah.
some coffee shop, waiting to
Wait,
see if he got the
waiting
call.
to see if he got the call. Okay. Well, all the hammers are there. I mean, everybody's there. And I'm surprised because, after the Masters, typically, now obviously Rory's not, but a lot of these guys after a big major like that might take a week off. But in this case, you've got all the
Not with the
players.
signature. Not with signature.
That's right.
Too much money. Florida Cracker Oyster Bar and
Yeah.
Grill is the ultimate spot for seafood and more, no matter the occasion. They're ready to welcome you, Florida Cracker style. Check them out at Keystone Heights.
I don't see Scheffler though. Is he?
He's there. He's
He
playing.
is?
Yeah. He
Oh.
shot like 2 or 3 under yesterday.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I see Schauffele, but Scheffler's three.
There.
You're
Trust
right.
me, I watched it yesterday.
Okay, 3 under. Yeah, 3 under. First round, pay attention on the weekend if you're going to place your bets. That's what I recommend. You still can get really good odds if you wait till Saturday, watch it, and then you don't have to grind out 3 days or 4 days. But your odds will be better. But certainly you're going to get good odds even on Saturday,
All right.
even on the weekend.
We got a text here on the Titan More text line from William. William wants to know our thoughts on what's going on with LIV.
Nothing's going on with LIV.
Oh, they're canceling it.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's going on. Right.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to cancel it at the end of the year or if this is their last event.
I think the Saudi
I read
Arabians, they have some other things to worry about right now in their part of the country, in their part of the world. Throwing billions out on golfers is probably, the Crown Prince probably said, you know what, we've had fun with this, but let's just have a tournament or two here in the country and we'll leave it at that. I don't know. I've never paid attention to it, QB. I've never, ever really looked.
You know what's interesting, JC, because all this news was coming out. I get home late yesterday afternoon, turn on the TV, flipping through the channels. I watch a little bit of the Hilton Head tournament.
Yeah.
Go watch something real quick. Come back. The LIV is on. It was like on Fox Sports or something.
Okay.
I literally watched it for a few minutes. There was a group with Terrell Hatton, Bryson, and I can't remember who the third was. They're on a par 3. They're in Mexico City. Beautiful golf course.
Yeah.
They're on the tee box. There's this big ass speaker woofer or whatever right behind them playing boom, 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 some crazy music. Okay. There was not 22 people watching them play golf. It was the damnedest thing I've ever seen. That's the first time I ever watched LIV.
Yeah.
They were playing this crazy music that it was just a beat. Nobody saying any words.
The best thing
there was nobody on the golf course watching them. It was a beautiful day wherever they were playing. But
Mexico,
anyway,
you said Mexico City.
Yeah, I'm so glad that the LIV is terrible. It's terrible.
The best thing that could happen to those golfers on that tour is for it to collapse, them get their money, and then go and have to start competing again so they get better. Because I really do think Cam Smith is a great golfer, but Cam Smith has disappeared from the face of the earth. And so has that guy with the funny swing that you used to always pick that you loved.
Matthew Wolf.
Right. He was excellent.
There's so many good players over there that are like me and you now. Daniel says the LIV says the season will go on. Okay, I must have read it wrong then. I don't really care. All right. Here's Annie's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law. Shane, if Houck comes back, can we defer some NIL money for our legacy guys so we can sign the Iowa State sharpshooter? I've been saying for about a month or two now, I think all 3 of those guys are coming back. I really want the damn Milan or whatever his name is.
Oh, man. That guy is.
I don't think we get him, though, if Thomas comes back.
Well, I tell you, he's something else, though, that kid. But, I still see this was posted on April 6th from John Ewing. BetMGM has Florida as the odds favorite to win the Natty next year. They're plus 10 to 1, plus 1,000. That's 10 to 1.
I really believe they're all coming back.
Right in front of Duke, Michigan, and Michigan State. And Arizona and UConn, same cast of characters. The
here's what my concern though is, JC. We struggled shooting this year, right?
Yeah, at times.
That's why I want a shooter. We still ain't got a shooter.
I get it, but I think Condon found his game offensively.
He ain't a shooter though.
I know, but
lay up in the paint.
Right, but he produced more, I think, on the
That's
offense.
fine, but
That's important.
it is. But I need somebody to make some
Shots.
20-foot jump
Yeah.
shots.
Right. Yeah. Walter Clayton and yeah, I get it. They're not there.
Yeah,
So
and that's my concern. I know people say if Denzel gets his waiver, he's a good player. He's
well,
solid.
it was
But
supposed to be
there's better shooters out there in
well, it's
America.
supposed to be Urban. Urban was supposed to be our
But he's not really a starter.
sharpshooter. Well, look, I think Florida will be fine. They're going to be
So
loaded.
I'm not questioning anything Todd does. I
Yeah.
I watched Iowa State from day one. I think their coach is outstanding. They play good basketball. And of course, I knew about Milan, or however you
Yeah.
pronounce his name,
He is
months ago. The
He's
dude
good.
shot 49% from three, made over 200 and something 3-pointers. Think about that.
That's crazy. I mean, that is NBA type of stuff there.
Yeah, he's an NBA player, 6'8".
Yeah.
He'll play in the NBA a long time.
Without a doubt. Speaking of that, catch any of the playoff playing games? We got 2 more.
No.
You don't? Okay, you don't watch
The
that.
playoffs have started. So
Well,
is there a game tonight, JC?
Well,
Who do you like?
playoffs have started, and the team I really liked, the LA Clippers, they lost to Golden State, and
Are they out?
they're done. That was a 9 versus 10. The winner was Golden State. They then will now play the Phoenix Suns to see who is the 8 seed and who has the honor of playing Oklahoma City. Good luck. And then the the 76ers beat Orlando the other night. So that means that was a 7-8 game. So that means Philadelphia without Joel Embiid, who had an appendectomy at about the worst time of the year. But anyway, they move in as the 7th seed to play the Celtics. And the winner of tonight's Orlando and Charlotte game, who beat Miami, which, by the way, that was a classic game, by the way. But the winner of that will be the 8th seed to play the Detroit Pistons. Go ahead.
But didn't the Orlando Magic lose the other night?
Yes, they did. They lost.
Why is their season not over?
Because they were in a 7-8 play-in game to see who would be the 7. And the loser would then have to play the winner of the 9-10 game, which, of course, was Charlotte over Miami, and what was a very classic, outstanding game, overtime win for Charlotte. So the Hornets and the Magic will play to see who gets to play the Pistons in the first round. The Sixers will play the Boston Celtics. The Knickerbockers will play the Atlanta Hawks, and that could be a very entertaining series if you like entertaining pro basketball, which right now is the time to watch it. It's good. That's a 3 versus 6. And then, excuse me, you have Cleveland and Toronto 4 versus 5. And Cleveland is a 6-1 favorite in that. So the playoffs are here. I'm excited. And then tomorrow we got hockey playoffs. I know you can't wait for that.
I do like hockey playoffs.
The hockey playoffs. Tampa Bay will be playing Montreal in the first round. It's ridiculous the way they seed these teams in the NHL playoffs. You literally have some of the best teams playing in the first round. You've got Dallas playing Minnesota in the first round. That's crazy. You've got Tampa Bay and Montreal in the first round. That's crazy. It's going to be outstanding, though. It will be fun to watch. So, I'm into it.
We all know someone stacking gold and silver, and for good reason. It's been one of the smartest financial moves out there. Precious metals have delivered over 100% returns over the past 2 years. Go visit moneymetals.com and check out their monthly automatic purchase plan too. That's moneymetals.com. All right, JC.
Who's pitching tonight for the Fighting Gators against Auburn?
Liam.
Okay, yeah. Man, I am so intrigued at how this team goes about its business. When they play good teams, they really lock in, and then they just take a week off.
It's somewhat interesting because I was talking to Kevin Brockway on the program yesterday. Over the years, the last few years, we've struggled at times with the midweek games.
Yeah.
And, people are talking like, well, we don't have great pitching depth. Well, the other team ain't pitching their ace against us either. So it's one of those. Would you rather win series and lose your midweek games or win your midweek games and lose a series? Absolutely not.
No.
The Gators, with their strength of schedule and what they're doing against top-ranked teams,
they're
one of the top 4 teams in America.
And that's going to really help them because what's the goal, QB? What is the goal, everybody? The goal is to be 1 through 8 seed. That's what you want to be as they go into the postseason, because that guarantees, if you win the regional, a super regional home matchup. And that's how you get to Omaha. I'm telling you, I think it's exciting. This is a great time of year. May baseball in Gainesville. Come on, man. That's what we wait for. That's what the Gator fans want. And that gets you to bridge through the 2J months before football, right?
Yeah. Clint says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, will you please update us like I'm working in the pro shop, when y'all have new head covers at Bostic? Not
Yeah.
a fan of the Gator Boys Stay Hot head cover. Clint, they have probably 8 to 9 different
Yeah.
styles with
I'm not
different.
into the Grayson collar, off color collars. I'm
Well,
off
he's
that.
talking about head covers.
I know head covers, everything in that pro shop is there. It's
Great
great.
Grayson, and to me, Grayson is outstanding with their hoodies and other stuff. I hate their polos.
Right. Okay. So that we agree on that. And then the two buttoned. Now they're coming out with collars that have little buttons on the bottom. I said,
That's
what the hell is?
Grayson. They do some weird stuff,
I'm not into that. So
but their hoodies are phenomenal.
you love them.
You wouldn't pay. They're better than that hoodie you got on, JC.
I don't know. I got this for $19 in St. Augustine. It's the most
You
comfortable
might
thing I
get
own.
you might get the right cuff for $19 on a Grayson.
This is the most comfortable thing I own. I bought it on St. George Street in St. Augustine for $19 at near the Rendezvous restaurant, where you can drink any beer on earth.
Clint trying to tell me they all say Gator Boys Stay Hot. They don't. I have a head cover that just has a bunch of swinging gators all over it.
Y'all are really
I have
fighting over
another
this.
head cover that only has the swinging gator. I have one that has the script Florida. It's whatever you want to buy. Now, they may be out of all that stuff. I haven't been there. I don't. When I go in there, I don't look at the stuff anymore because I have too much and I refuse to buy any more stuff. So
You have too much? Is
I
that
have
right?
way too much swinging gator stuff, but it's the best logo we have.
By the way, we have a friend that played at the old Adena golf course the other day. He said there were 5 people out there.
There's always, yeah. I mean, that's how it
amazing.
works.
Amazing.
All right, JC, do you have any Peachland Dental picks from your
Well,
NBA game tonight for this
I
weekend?
mean, God, fade me quick if you want to win money, because I did have Portland and I did have the Sixers, but I lost the Clippers and I lost that Miami Charlotte game. I thought Charlotte would cover. You know, tonight I really have to say I'm impressed with Golden State winning at LA, and I think Golden State catching points tonight against the Phoenix Suns is the play. Golden State. And, you know, they're not the same Warrior team. And I can't stand Steve Kerr. Can't stand him at all. Really don't like him. But I think there's something you have to admit, and that is when Steph Curry plays in the playoffs, and if they have anything, you know, offensive, then they can beat you. And I'll take them catching points against the lowly Phoenix Suns. That's my play.
Very, very true. All right. So JC, real quick, where is
Yeah.
a large fry on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing says, does JC still have a Gator starter jacket from the mid-90s?
I wish I did.
You know what's interesting? Starter has made a comeback.
Yeah.
I'm in the sporting goods business, and we are selling a ton of starter stuff to
What do you think?
and
What do you
small
think?
colleges.
What do you think that's all about, QB? Why are you selling so much of that?
Because
People like it.
people like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think yeah, I like Champion. I like Champion stuff. The old, you know, Champion with the I think that's you know, I broke the trend, dude. I was wearing the Champion sweatshirts years ago, and you laughed.
Well, they were in style back in those days, JC.
You laughed and giggled. You said, "Where'd you get that, dude?"
I know, because nobody makes them anymore. I mean, we sell them, but they haven't updated. They still sell 100% cotton. Is their problem?
Well, okay, but I'm into it. Gear. Sometimes I've got some old gear stuff. Remember gear? Russell Athletic. What do you think of that?
They're back in business too.
Yeah, Russell Athletic is absolutely rolling back into this. Nike is dying. By the way, their stock price, if you look at Nike's stock chart, something's bad is happening at Nike. And
it's not a great. They're hard. I'll just leave it at that.
It's bad, man. That company has fallen on hard times. So I don't want to hear about the Oregon Ducks and all their Nike. Just look at their stock price. Speaking of stocks, everybody's going to make money today. So anyway, it's been a good couple weeks, and I, and back to all-time highs, and I'm loving that. And I think, this weekend with golf at Hilton Head, Gator baseball against Auburn, you got the softball, of course, and the NBA playoffs and the hockey playoffs. Man, this is a great time to be into sports, and fire up that Hard Rock, get yourself a little extra spending money, and enjoy a great weekend. QB, listen, Mike Morgan's going to give you a lot of good stuff today, but this is a time sometimes you have to dig for really good things. But with the baseball getting into May and the way the Gators are playing against good teams, I'm very optimistic. And again, I'm going to keep saying this for the next 4 months, 3 months, whatever. Get the Gators over 7.5 wins. Do it now, because by the time August hits, you'll be laying odds. Now you get plus odds today. Over 8.5. I went through the schedule. It is solid. And Florida State under 6.5 is my second most favorite bet. QB, tell me where you find 7 wins for Florida State's schedule. New Mexico State, maybe. SMU, nope. Alabama, nope. Virginia, nope. Louisville, nope. Miami, nope. Clemson, nope. And then you got BC and Pittsburgh in November, who knows? Then you got NC State, probably not, and Florida, probably not. You could actually take that 6.5.
They may win 2 games.
You could take that 6.5 down to 4.5 and get odds. Hell yeah. I'm telling you, bro, that Florida State team is going to be a mess, and Norvell's going to get it. The seat is going to be on fire.
It's already on fire.
It's on fire. It's on fire. Ask Mike Morgan if he thinks Florida State's got 7 wins in there.
I'll ask him. All right, JC, have a good weekend.
Okay, man. Have a good weekend.
Miapa is proud to sponsor Gator athletes at all Gator baseball home games. When the Gators win, like last night, you win a free cup of Cuban coffee from any Miapa location. Just show your ticket. Go Gators, go Miapa. There's the Peachland Dental picks. I have, real quick,
Where?
JC.
Yeah.
You just threw them up. I have Minwoo Lee, Akshay, Batia, Brian Harmon, and Maverick McNeely.
Oh.
You have Russell Henley, Matt Fitzpatrick, Xander, Gary. Your picks are much better than mine.
Well, right now they are after the first round. Doesn't matter. I can't believe you don't have Oberg, but look at that swing of yours. Look at your club there on your picture there. Look how even and parallel it is to the ground. Yeah, Siwoo is not on your list. That's shocking. Badia, it's not Nadia, it's Badia, but he did not make the cut last week, so I'd expect he played better this week. He's an accurate hitter of the golf ball, but I love Fitz and Woodland on this court, so I think they'll kill it. So we'll see.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
We'll take a quick time out. Come back. We'll be joined by Mike Morgan. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back. Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Landeros Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, Castaway Sauce, UF Health Orthopedics, Michael Schneider PLLC, Florida Legends Gala and Experience, Money Metals, Sensei Asian Bistro. Our gridiron sponsors are Baker Sports, Florida Cracker Oyster, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, International Gold and Diamond, Advocare, and MGA Wealth. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook or YouTube. Listen to podcasts wherever, on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And to advertise, be sure to call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Naysayers. Setbacks. Injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, plus you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
The jewelry store with the most likes, the most positive reviews, the most raving fans is International Diamond Center.
IDC is definitely a place that I will come to as long as I live here. This will be my go-to place always.
Literally the best jewelry store in town. You'll make friends for life coming in here. I felt like family from the beginning. The value was extraordinary.
I've got a beautiful diamond on my finger and I'm very proud of it.
International Diamond Center.
I'm very happy to show it off.
At Celebration Point and online at shopidc.com.
Gainesville's best-kept secret is finally being revealed. Introducing Sensei Asian Bistro. Located in Celebration Point next to Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, Sensei delivers a one-of-a-kind Japanese-French fusion experience that's as refined as it is unforgettable. Indulge in signature dishes like our smoked New York strip, Chilean sea bass, matcha curry, or the crave-worthy chunggang chili chicken. Pair it all with handcrafted cocktails, fresh crudo oysters, or our premium A5 Wagyu tataki. Sensei Asian Bistro. Make your reservation today.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. UF grad Michael Schneider, real estate attorney, can help you save thousands of dollars in real estate commissions by helping you sell your home or land by owner without a broker. Michael Schneider, PLLC, serves the entire state of Florida. Contact Michael at maschneiderpllc.com. Back to the Titan More hotline. It's our man, Mike Morgan from the SEC Network. What's up, Mike?
Good morning to you, Shane. Hope everybody is doing well, ready for a great weekend. It feels like we're kind of catching our breath a little bit, right? Like basketball is done. The Masters came and went. You know, the draft is a couple weeks ahead of us, but this is kind of a chill weekend, you know, unless you're a big NBA playoff guy. But that's going to go on for about 6 weeks. So a little bit of a chance for us to kind of recalibrate, recharge, and get ready for the next string of big events.
All right, let's start with a couple of baseball, Gator stuff. We'll start with baseball right now. Have you figured out this Gator baseball team yet? I don't think anybody has, but as long as they're winning their SEC series, that's all I care about.
And that's the key. Like, I get it. You know, people look at it and you're like, I lost to Bethune-Cookman and but then you beat Florida State, you beat Miami, you sweep Georgia when Georgia was playing lights out. If I'm not mistaken, you don't even allow a home run to Georgia, and they were leading the country in homers. I've seen this movie before with other teams. Like LSU has been infamous for this. They've had years where they went on to win a national championship, and then they would lose to like Southern or McNeese on a Tuesday night, and their fan base would freak out. Midweek games are just different. I just look, you want to win them all, and it certainly can hurt your seeding because baseball has their version of the net, you know, their RPI, and yes, they all count. So you can't say they're completely irrelevant, but the biggest games are what you do in the SEC, and those are going to carry more weight, and those ultimately you could kind of get a good read on just how good your team is based on playing that kind of competition. So I've never been one to put too much stock in your run-of-the-mill mid-major Tuesday, Wednesday night matchups.
All right, let's talk Gator basketball. Got a lot of comments and questions about that. Alex Condon has said he's coming back. We have not heard about Ruben Chinulu, but we believe he's coming back. And then there's rumors out there that Thomas Houck is coming back. Your thoughts on that? If he does come back, I mean, I think already out in Vegas, as JC was saying, the Gators are in the top 3 odds to win the national title next year. Do you think Tommy comes back?
Based on what I'm hearing, I would not be surprised. And based on the financial packages that are being offered, and that's the difference between what's going on right now and 2007. What do I mean by that? 2006, Florida wins a national championship. Very few people think Al Horford, Joakim Noah and Brewer are all going to come back, but they do. The infamous press conference, let's run it back for another one, and nobody was touching that 07 team. They just ran through the field like a hot knife through butter. They ran through the SEC. They ran through the NCAA tournament. Those kids truly loved college in Gainesville and loved what it was being all about. And they knew at the other end of the tunnel, they'd still be high draft picks, make a lot of money. And that's what happened. And Al Horford's still playing, if you can believe it. It's crazy. But now I don't think there's a universe where and again, I don't think Chinyulu's a pro right now. And we've talked about Condon. I think somebody would draft Condon. But I don't think Condon's he's certainly not a lottery pick or anything. Thomas Houck's a different story. But nowadays, the only way those three kids all come back is if there's great NIL packages. And we call them NIL packages. It's kind of comical. They're on the payroll, okay? That's
Yes.
what everybody's doing now. I had a high-ranking SEC executive for a particular SEC school that had success last year, by the way, that one of the ones that made the NCAA tournament the last 2 years. And he said, Mike, what's going on with the way we are buying basketball players right now is simply not sustainable. I said, what do you mean by that? I mean, if boosters are willing to pay it, they're willing to pay it. He said, yeah, but it just keeps going up. So last year, 10 to 12 million was kind of the median of what SEC schools were paying. If you were below that, you didn't have much of a chance. If you were above that, you had a chance, and unless you were Kentucky, you spent 22, and you didn't have a $22 million looking team. That 10 to 12 is now probably closer to 15. And when I say 15, that's the price you go to the poker table and you have to ante up just to play the hand if you want to be competitive. And it sounds to me like Florida is more than that. And if you're going to keep those three kids, you absolutely are going to be more than that. So I don't know if Houck is coming back. There certainly are signs. Look, if he was dead set on the NBA, he already would have announced it. It's certainly a chance. And again, the money, if it's there, these kids could make more staying in college for an extra year than what they would make on a rookie deal in the NBA. Even a guy like Thomas Houck, who's got a good chance to be a lottery pick, could still be a guy that spends a lot of his rookie year in the G League on a two-way deal. So anything is possible. And I'll tell you this, if they get all three back and if they find the right shooting somewhere, look out, because that would be a scary, scary team.
Yeah, the shooting is the issue. I've been saying for months, I thought Tommy was coming back. I still feel that way, but we got to find a shooter. I know AJ Brown, who was injured this year, Isaiah Brown's brother, is supposed to be a great shooter, but I don't think we can afford the Iowa State sharpshooter if the other guys come back. Because I saw where the big men are asking. This is nationwide. Big men are being paid anywhere between $4 to $5 million to come back to college basketball. It's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Georgia just lost the Wilkinson kid. It looks like he's going to Arkansas. I was told that he told people there that if the money is not at least $2.5 million, he's not even listening. And look, he's a good scorer, but I don't know. It's not an elite player. And a lot of these bigs that are getting money, there were big guys that couldn't walk and chew gum that were sitting on the bench most of the game that were making seven figures. That's just where we are today. Yep. And it's the hardest position to find. There's just not many people walking planet Earth that are 6'11" and above. And so even if they're not great players, they can command high dollar figures because at bare minimum, you want somebody who can defend the post, who can rebound, who can rim protect. And all those things are what a guy like Chinyulu does. Chinyulu can help you win games and score 6 points. And that's a skill. The guy from Georgia, Surreal, he's leaving. He's going to make a lot of money. I don't know if I've ever seen that kid hit a shot beyond 4 feet, but it doesn't matter. He rebounds, he defends, he rim protects. So if you can do that in today's day and age of big-time college basketball, you're going to make millions of dollars, even if you don't have a particularly skilled game. Even if you would just assume climb Mount Everest before you convert on a hook shot. Like, that's just where we are. It's nuts. But another key thing is who's got the sharp shooters? So where can you find guys that can fill it up from downtown? And that's a hefty price tag as well. I had the kid from Iowa State at Kansas, had an off night that night. He's not very athletic, but he is a absolute knockdown shooter. If he is open, and he does have size, so he doesn't have to be wide open, he's going to hit it. It's just an easy shot for him. And so he's going to command high dollar as well. There's only so many guys out there that can shoot 40% from downtown. South Carolina just signed the kid from Texas. I mean, he averaged 5 points a game, but he shot over 40% from three. And Lamont Paris wants a guy who can stretch defenses. So I'm sure he got a pretty penny. That's just, again, that's what the market value is for those two positions.
Yeah, it really is. Text here on the Titan More text line. Joe wants to know your thoughts from the Florida spring game.
Well, look, I don't, and I've broadcasted a lot of spring games for ESPN. And when I was a student in Gainesville, I broadcasted a spring game on radio. That was when Fred Taylor was there and guys like that. Danny Werfel, I don't put too much stock in it. The one caveat that everybody really gets hyped up over a spring game is when you've got a quarterback battle. And obviously you've got one in Gainesville. And I know you have strong thoughts on it, leaning one way or the other, Shane. I haven't talked to you about that on or off the air yet. But Florida's one of I think I counted about a handful of schools this year in the SEC that are going to have a true quarterback battle. Tennessee is one. Alabama is one. There's a few of them out there that it's going to come down to the wire. But at least you've got guys that, I don't know, it just seems to me like, Shane, guys that can throw the ball better than TJ Lagway, to put it bluntly. And I don't think this fan base wants to suffer through another year of shoddy quarterback play.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to win the job, but both of them are fundamentally sound. They knew where to go with the football. They were accurate for the most part. They just looked like they knew how to play the position. And to me, that goes a lot farther than how big a guy is, what his ratings were, how far he can throw it, makes one good throw out of 10. That stuff does anything for me, never has, and it never will. So I think we'll have a lot of consistency at that position. And I will tell you this, Mike, they got dudes surrounding the quarterback that can go at the tailback position, and at wide receiver, they are loaded.
They got toys.
Silverback Concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it, we stand by it. We got Mike Morgan here for a few more minutes, just talking a little bit about everything. Mike, I know the draft's coming up, and you love the draft. Do you still think Mendoza is going to be the first pick?
I would be shocked if he wasn't. I think Tom Brady is infatuated with him. Tom Brady, of course, involved with the Raiders now. I think he sees a lot of himself in Mendoza, right around 6'5", doesn't move particularly well, kind of spindly and wiry, a thin frame and not the strongest arm in the world, but extremely accurate. And then there's the intangibles. I mean, you saw that in the playoff run where Indiana was seldom the most talented team in those playoff matchups, but they're coached very well. And then Mendoza, you need a play, he makes a play. I watch him and I do see a little bit of Brady type characteristics. And nobody's predicting he's going to go on and win 7 Super Bowls. And some NFL scouts will tell you he's not a true first round quarterback. They don't give him a first round grade. This draft overall is, if you believe the evaluators, one of the least talented in a while. That's why people are talking about Ty Simpson, who's barely played a dozen games, being the second first round draft pick, because there's nobody else. I mean, remember Garrett Nussmeier's his overall stock plummeted, as well as some other guys that were thought to be highly touted, and some guys who were thought to go pro realized they're not really good, and so they didn't go pro. They went back to college. And so when you look at it, there's just not a lot of quarterbacks. But what do we always know about the NFL? There are teams and franchises that are starving to get a quarterback, and so they always overdraft a quarterback. They take him higher than maybe his grade actually is. But yeah, I think Mendoza goes 1. I think David Bailey, the defensive end out of Texas Tech, guys like that, guaranteed top 5 pick. Here's the thing. I was looking at it the other day, Shane. I can't remember the last time I've seen this. It could be a year where not only do we not have an SEC quarterback in the first round, that'll change next year, of course, with Arch Manning and possibly some others. I don't know if there's a skilled player from an SEC school that's going to go in the first round. When's the last time that happened? It seems like it's been a long time.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That would be crazy if that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Mike, we're pretty close to SEC Media Days, believe it or not. It's not far away.
Oh.
It's going to be in Tampa this year. Who is Mike Morgan's way too early number 1 team in the Southeastern Conference?
Okay, first off, on Media Days itself, have you ever been to one of the? Well, you went as a player, of course.
As a player.
Yeah. I mean, it's changed since you played, Shane. It's now a 3-ring circus.
Yeah.
They want to see how many people they can get through the turnstiles just to kind of do a flex. And, look at us. We've got 1,500 media members here. We're the SEC, and they'll get it. Your Nick Saban autograph seekers that used to stockpile the Galleria Hotel in Hoover, Alabama, that's going to be that's a different look nowadays. But the overwhelming story is going to be Lane Kiffin. I mean, he is not going to be able to walk from the TV room to the radio room to the print room to the Josh Pate room to the whatever room without just this gaggle of reporters following him and waiting on. I mean, it's the closest thing to Spurrier. When I used to go to those media days, most of the coaches were boring. They didn't have personalities. They didn't give you many good quotes. And so you would flock to Spurrier because you knew he was going to give you something good. And that's what they're all going to do with Lane Kiffin. I know it's not the question you asked, but when you said media days, that's the light bulb that went off in my head.
Right.
Who's going to win the SEC? Look, until things change in Athens, the safe pick is still Kirby and Georgia and Gunnar Stockton coming back. I mean, that's just the safe money, right? Like they're the closest thing to what Saban had at Alabama, and that every year they're dominant on defense. They're good enough on offense. They got athletes, they got depth, and they're well coached. So if you ask me today in mid-April to have to make a pick, that would be my pick. That's subject to change 27 times between now and the start of the season.
Yeah, I would, if I had to pick today, I would go Texas, and only one reason and one reason only. I think Will Muschamp's going to make a big difference.
Old crazy Will. Yeah. Look, that's not a bad pick at all. I mean, obviously, Arch Manning, I'm sure, entered your equation there.
There's no question. I thought he had a phenomenal year last year. I know a lot of people don't think so, but if you go back and really watch him play, he struggled like the first 2 or 3 games, but boy, he turned it on. And I just think is really good play.
Yeah, and I had him in 2 of the biggest games, and he shined. He was the player of the game when we had the game against Oklahoma and we had the game against Texas A&M. He was the best player on the field, bar none. Think about it. He did what he did last year with no offensive line and with no running game. They couldn't run the ball. And for much of the year, they couldn't pass protect, which is hard to believe. You're like, Texas, how could they not? They would not be the first premier program to have struggles on the offensive line. There's no program in college football that's immune to that. Alabama couldn't run either.
Right.
You know, Alabama was the 2nd worst rushing team in the SEC. That's not in their DNA. That's not supposed to be that way. But But yeah, I like Texas too, because Arch now, I mean, look at the toys they got him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Auburn's fantastic duo of wideouts. One is in Gainesville. I know you and I are both high on him. The other one, the Coleman kid, he's in Austin. You know, and so I have to think their offensive line is going to be better. Arch Manning's got more targets to throw to. They've got athletes on defense. Yeah, I like Texas and Georgia would be my top two. I'm right there with you on that. And there's no doubt Will Muschamp is one of many guys out there that fail as a head coach, but it doesn't take away anything from the fact that they're elite coordinators or analysts or whatever you want to call it nowadays with all the cooks in the kitchen. I love the pickup as well.
Yeah. All right. MSRK says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, is that QB at LSU and practicing? I think Sam Levitt practiced for a few days, and then I think he had surgery on the foot that he had previous surgery on or something. So no, he is not practicing during the spring, but he'll be ready for the fall.
Right.
Apparently.
Yeah, it's his job. They paid him $5 million, so he's going to be the guy, and their company is going to be healthy, and again, just fascinated to see what that looks like, because you don't spend all that money at LSU, and it's well documented. If you look at what they've spent in the last 5 months on football and basketball, to buy out coaches, to bring in coaches, to bring in staff, NIL, it's over $200 million. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's absolutely insane. Well, now you got to win, and luckily there's a playoff so that you could still drop two if you're Lane and still make it to the playoff. But they're not going to take lightly any losses at all over there in Baton Rouge with everything that they've invested in this Lane Kiffin regime.
Yeah, it's interesting too. You're talking about the quarterbacks, $5 million or so to Sam Levitt. The backup came from USC. They're paying him a ton of money. Their third string guy is a very talented kid from Elon who just shattered records in that level of play, but he's just going to take the money and not play unless injuries happen at LSU. It's pretty interesting. Mike, good stuff as always, my friend. Have a good week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, Shane. Appreciate it.
That's Mike Morgan joining us on the Titan MR hotline. Castaway Hot Sauce. Try their signature ball kicker hot sauce inspired by the HBC, Steve Spurrier, and his famous kick in 1966. Have a great weekend, folks. Good luck to the Lady Gator gymnastics team. They're battling and competing for a national title tomorrow. We'll see you on Monday. Take care.